say anything for a few moments. He broke eye contact with her and stared down into his glass of wine. Trinity couldn't help but wonder what he was thinking. He looked back at her. "There's another solution to your problem, you know." She lifted a brow. "There is? You did say he's a surgeon, right?" "Yes." "Then I could break his hands so he'll never be able to use them in an operating room again." She stared wide-eyed at him for a couple of seconds before leaning forward. "You're joking, right?" "No, I'm not joking. I'm dead serious." She leaned back as she studied his features. They were etched with ruthlessness, and his dark eyes were filled with callousness. It was only then that Trinity remembered Tara's tales about the twins, their baby sister Bailey, and their younger cousin Bane. According to Tara, those four were the holy terrors of Denver while growing up and got into all kinds of trouble, malicious and otherwise. But that was years ago. Now, Bane was a Navy SEAL. The twins were both Harvard graduates. Adrian obtained his PhD in engineering, and Aiden completed medical school, and Bailey, the youngest of the four, was presently working on her MBA. However, it was quite obvious to Trinity that behind Adrian Westmoreland's chiseled good looks, irresistible charm, and PhD was a man who could return to his old ways if the need arose. "I don't think we need to go that far," she said, swallowing. "Like Tara suggested, we can pretend to be lovers and hope that works." "If that's how you prefer handling it." "Yes. And you don't have a problem going along with it? Forgoing dating other women for a while?" He pushed his plate aside and leaned back in his chair. "Nope. I don't have a problem going along with it. Putting my social life on hold until this matter is resolved will be no big deal." Trinity released a relieved sigh. She'd heard that since he'd returned to Denver to work as one of the CEOs at his family-owned business, Blue Ridge Land Management, Adrian had acquired a very active social life. There weren't many single Westmoreland men left in town. In fact, he was the only one. His cousin Stern was engaged to be married in a few months. Bane was away in the Navy, and Aiden was practicing medicine at a hospital in North Carolina. All the other Westmoreland men had married. Adrian would definitely be a catch for any woman, and they were coming after him from every direction, determined to hook a Westmoreland man. She'd heard he was having the time of his life letting them try. Trinity was grateful she wasn't interested. The only reason she and Adrian were meeting was that she needed his help to pull off her plan. In fact, this was the first time they had seen each other since she'd moved to Denver 8 months ago. She'd known when she accepted the internship at Denver Memorial last year that a slew of her sister's Westmoreland cousins-in-law lived here. She'd met most of them at Riley's wedding, but most lived in a part of Denver referred to as Westmoreland country, and she lived in town. Though she had heard that when Adrian returned to Denver, he had taken a place in town instead of moving to his family's homestead, more for privacy than anything else. "I think we should put our plan into action now," he said, breaking into her thoughts. He surprised her further when he took her hand in his and brought it to his lips, while staring deeply into her eyes. She tried to ignore the intense fluttering in her stomach caused by his lips brushing against her skin. "Why are you so anxious to begin?" "It's simply a matter of timing," he said, bringing her hand to his lips yet again. "Don't look now, but Dr. Casey Belvedere just walked in. He's seen us and is looking over here." Let the show begin. Adrian continued to stare deep into Trinity's eyes, sensing her nervousness. Although she had gone along with Tara's suggestion, he had a feeling she wasn't 100% on board with the idea of pretending to be his lover. Although Dr. Belvedere was going about his pursuit all wrong, Adrian could understand the man wanting her. Hell, what man in his right mind wouldn't? Like her sister, Tara, Trinity was an incredibly beautiful woman. Ravishing didn't even come close to describing her. When he'd first met Tara years ago, the first thing out of his mouth was to ask if she had any sisters. Tara had smiled and replied yes, she had a sister who was a senior in high school with plans to go to college to become a doctor.